All right, welcome back. So different video. Somebody in a comment in a previous video said, hey, can you make a video about the books that are sitting on your bookshelf? So, okay, I'm going to do that. We're looking right now at 4 books that I have written, and I've got one that I'm currently writing about the launch of my company, but I'll talk about the books that I've written here that are sitting on the shelf. So, first book I wrote was called The Book of Us. And it's basically just a philosophical book, that talks about just ways of looking at the world and ways to think about things. And I guess kind of goes against the grain, against, some stuff that the world believes in. Then I wrote Perpetual Wealth. I could be wrong about the order of this stuff. So Perpetual Wealth is all about how to invest to basically ensure that you don't run out of money, like investing in cash flowing assets. And I'll probably do an update, I was starting a book called Money Machines to talk about the stuff that I talked about, like in my Jeep with high yield dividend ETFs and cryptocurrency. So I'll have to come out with a new version of that. Next book I wrote was Profiting from Fear. And this is like how to leverage emotions, exploit weaknesses, and make a fucking killing. Okay, so this book is all about how to get your shit together when it comes to your emotions and how to not back down, face your fears, take risks in life and all that kind of stuff. Also, like if you are starting a business or you're in marketing, like how do you market your products? So like, for example, we use fear overtly and covertly in a lot of marketing, a lot of books and stuff. We don't even recognize it. So for example, you might see a book that has a title of like, never run out of money in retirement, or a title like Secure Your Retirement. Well, those sound good and we're drawn to those books, but underneath the hood is like this fear-based message. Like, if you don't buy this book, you're gonna run out of money in retirement. Or if you don't buy this book, your retirement is not secure. So it talks about that kind of stuff. And then I wrote Seldom Sex, because I'm like, well, sex is everywhere and people don't recognize it. Sex and just our underlying emotions, desires, all that kind of stuff. This is like the sexiest book I've written, so check this out. Okay, so I was like, and I ran out of time when I was writing this book. I was like, I had a deadline for Amazon, and I kept extending it. I could only extend it once, and I ran out of time, and I'm like, shit, I have a week to write this book. So I did a really quick job, which is why I called it the Virgin Edition. So I'm like, someday I'll come back and write an actual proper version of this, but this is kind of fun. The dirty secrets you were never taught: how to exploit desires and entice customers for maximum profit. I got a sexy ass back cover. It's like, this is kind of funny. When I actually handed a copy of this book to one of my buddies at the office, and when he saw the front cover, he was embarrassed of it, so he flipped it over. I'm like, that is just as sexy as the front cover. So anyway, so in this book, I talk about like a bunch of desires, like sexual desires and all that kind of stuff, and how they're used to market to us. And like, I paid extra. Like, the book is super expensive because Amazon charges you so much for color photos, like a color book, but I'm like, damn, I'm like, this kind of stuff is fun to write. And so it's just a fun book to write. And it talks about, like a lot of the things that we were taught about, like, well, the 7 deadly sins. And it's like, I talk about in this book how the 7 deadly sins, if you understand them and, understand them and can use them, well, then that's your path to freedom. Like the 7 deadly sins, like that's how you make money. That's how you succeed in life. So it's like, I do an analysis of that. So just kind of fun books to write. Like I said, I'm writing another book called Launching Rockets. It's on how I started my company, how I got started, did all that kind of stuff. And then I'll write one, for my son, to basically give him life advice on everything in life, from investing to women to dating to sex to college to everything. And I think that'll be fun. And then after that, I think I might write a memoirs book. Even though I'm like not quite 50, by the time I write this, I'll be 50. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'll write a memoirs book. So that is it. I don't have a lot of books down here at this place in Florida. I've got a bunch of Robert Kiyosaki books. He was one of my original inspirations for I guess changing my outlook on investing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that is the scoop on these books on the shelf. I like I just figured, I'm like, it's cool to be an author. A lot of people think they can't be an author and therefore they never take the steps to become an author. And I'm like, you know what? I can write a book. It's like I can do a damn good job, and I'm not going to wait around for an editor and do all that kind of stuff. So when Amazon allowed self-publishing, I'm like, I'm just going to write this thing myself and self-publish. Like, screw an editor or publisher. It's like, I just want to get the stuff out there so that I can put it up on the shelf and say, I wrote that thing. And someday when I'm dead and gone, my kid and grandkids can be like, Dad and Grandpa, wrote this book or these books. It's so crazy. So anyway, did you know? So it's like, by the way, so that may be the sexiest book I wrote, Seldom Sex. But I actually wrote an erotica ebook as well. And that was the first thing I wrote. And I intended to write more, but I never did. And no, you won't find them under Amazon under my name. They are under a pen name. So, all right, that's it for this video. Hope you guys are doing well. Take care.